All right, let's talk really briefly about something really important, money and security. The security of your personal things. So, when your first piece of advice, oh my gosh, learn it from the person who had to learn it the hard way. At an ATM, when you've gone to an ATM and you've used the ATM, your money pops out, and so does your card. Get the card as fast as possible out of that ATM. I'll tell you what happened. Short story. I was at an ATM, saw the money, got the money, was busy organizing the money in my wallet, and it was like, yeah, the card's there. I'll get it. The card's there. I'll get it. Went to get the card. The card was sucked back into the ATM machine. And you know what day it was? It was a Saturday. When is that bank open? Not on Saturdays. Not on Sundays. Thank goodness it was not far from me. It was in San Jose. I live in Heredia. It's a quick 30-minute bus ride. But the inconvenience of having to go back to that place a couple days later when I had other things to do on that Monday, it was a pain. But it's a security thing, so avoid that hassle. Save yourself the hassle of having to go back to a bank and retrieve your card that got sucked back into the ATM machine because you didn't grab it right away. Grab the card the second you see it and then deal with the money. Okay? As far as passports, leave your passport at home. Leave it at home unless you really think you're going to need it or you're going to need it. If you're not sure, ask one of the nice people that work for Beto. Veto, I guess. Oh, Verto. There we go. That's your program name. So, I've met a couple of those people either when I met you at the airport, and also the couple days ahead of time when I went to Turrialba kind of on my dry run to just check things out. Those people are on top of everything. They're very nice. They're super organized, and they will let you know if you need to bring your passport. Otherwise, what's a great idea is to just make a photocopy. Make a black and white copy of your passport. Keep it in your bag, okay? Or keep it in your little change pouch that you have now, your little money pouch, so that if you need to provide identification, you have a copy of it. Always, carry your driver's license on you too. It never hurts to have a secondary form of ID as a backup, but you don't want to put yourself in the position of losing a passport or having it snagged incidentally. That's just a big pain in the butt. I haven't experienced it, thank goodness, yet, but you don't want to. And so there should be a copier there at Katie, where you are staying. And if for some reason you don't have access to a copier there, then there are plenty of places in town, I'm sure, at least in Turrialba, there's got to be at least 2 or 3, maybe 4 or more places where it says copias on the sign, copias, to make copies. And it's very, very cheap, usually, to get one copy made and printed. And if you haven't already got enough of Dad Joey, here's one more little tidbit from Dad Joey. Please always carry 5,000 to 10,000 colones on you just in case of an emergency. You never know. You never know if you're going to need a taxi when you didn't think you were going to need a taxi. You never know if your card is not going to work somewhere. Always have at least 5,000 to 10,000 colones, Costa Rican cash, on you at all times. Let's talk really fast about stores. Okay, so you will see in town, if you have not seen it already, there is a Maxi Pali. Maxipali. That is like a Walmart Junior. It's Maxi Pali and Pali. They are part of the Walmart family of stores. So Walmart is the biggie, and then you have your Maxi Pali, which is kind of like a sister store. It's kind of like a mini Walmart, and then you've got Pali, which is they pretty much only sell food, so it's just grocery store. Whereas Maxi Pali, they sell both groceries and other items. Walmart, the big regular Walmart, you got your full selection of both grocery food items and non-food items, like we would have back in the States, pretty much. So you can, so keep that in mind when you are looking for a store to make any of your purchases. Also, this happens more with the smaller businesses, but if you and you probably, with the program that you guys are at, I don't anticipate you will be doing a whole lot of going into town and looking for things to buy and needing to buy. A lot of things will be taken care of and set up for you, hopefully. But if you do, just a little side note, businesses here don't always operate at the hours that they have publicized. I can't tell you how many times I have gone to a store to really quickly get something, and they say they open at 9 o'clock. I show up at 9 o'clock. Douche. Closed. And have no signs of opening. That happens from time to time. Okay, so, I've gotten in the habit now of assuming that's going to kind of happen. I'll give them, let me give them 20 or 30 minutes to kind of mosey their way to work and finally open, just to curb my frustration and not feel like I'm wasting my time. So it's just something to keep in mind. A lot of times, probably more often than not, they open on time, and sometimes they close depending on what it is. Especially like there's a soda that there are some sodas that if they don't have a lot of business, the one around the corner from me, it says it's open until 3. A lot of times they're closed by 1. And so I have to go somewhere else to get something to eat. And so just something to be aware of. Another thing to be aware of is that a lot of, especially the smaller businesses, as I was mentioning, they close for lunch. So they might have 1 or 2 employees there. And instead of, I don't know, I guess their calculation is there aren't many people passing around that time coming through, so it's not worth us paying this person to have them work through their lunch, or have 2 people work there and stay open for lunch. Whatever the case, a lot of places close for lunch. So if you need to go somewhere, again, it's usually the smaller, slightly smaller businesses, and you need something and you show up and they're not there at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, it's because they're closed for lunch. And so give them an hour and come back later to get what you need. Another thing is the vast majority of stores, the return policies. Let's talk about return policies. I was so frustrated when I first got here. The return policies stink here. They're pretty bad compared to the United States. So if you want to buy something, think about if you really want to buy it and keep it. There is no true returns for the most part. Walmart is the only place where they will honor a return after, within like 30 days, I think. But not for electronics at Walmart. The Walmart here, it's 24 hours, and you have 24 hours to return something that's like an electronic or a technology product. And but after that, they will honor your 30-day return with a receipt. All other places, I've learned the hard way, they don't follow that. So when you're in Costa Rica, you have to be extra sure that you are going to want it and you're going to keep it forever, because otherwise you can return within however many days their policy is. You can bring it back, I should say, for an exchange. You cannot bring an item back for to return and get your money back. So here you have to be 100% sure that you are going to want and keep the thing that you buy, because you will never be able to get your money back. That's what a lot of the store policies are here. Real quick note about clothing. Costa Rica is super casual with clothing. You know, t-shirt and shorts, you're good to go. On a cool night, t-shirt and jeans or pants, you're good to go. Fashion is not a high priority here. There are days I've walked out of my place looking like a complete clown, and no one cares. Really, no one cares about fashion. Maybe some of the more well-off people here in the San Jose area might care, but for the most part, no one cares what you wear. When it comes to your shoes are going to get dirty. Especially with what I'm kind of gathering with your program. You're looking up a couple things with you guys having excursions and doing things outdoors quite a bit. Anticipate that your shoes are not going to be in the condition that they were when you arrived yesterday. So, there's just a lot of dust and dirt around here. And so a heads up on that. They won't be as pretty as they were when you arrived. And as far as dust and dirt goes, especially in the dry season, maybe there will be less dust and dirt flying around in the air because it is rain season, and so that helps to kind of keep down the amount of dust and dirt that flies in the air and gets in your eyes. But it could still happen, especially in an area like Turrialba where there might be a little bit less rain. It might be a little drier, but there can be a lot of, especially in the dry season, a lot of dust flying around. And with that, it can get in your eyes a lot. So I would suggest, if you haven't already, and I probably should have told you this before you came, and I forgot, I'm sorry, but like wraparound sunglasses are really helpful. Just that sunglasses that only cover the front part of your face, that doesn't really help. Those don't help with dust and dirt. So, and there are plenty of places that you can get sunglasses, if you don't already have them, that are wraparound sunglasses. And if you don't want to bother with it, that's fine. But just don't be surprised if there's a gust of wind, if there's a lot of dirt that flies in your face with that wind. Earthquakes. They're weird. That's it. Earthquakes are weird. I didn't grow up with them, so they're weird to me. And from what I'm aware of, Lily having grown up in the same area, and Connor, being that you grew up in Tennessee, I'm not aware of there being a whole lot of earthquakes in Tennessee, but you might feel one while you're here. They're usually not bad. They last for a few seconds. It's just this odd feeling. I've kind of gotten used to them, but they're still just weird. And even people here that have grown up with them, when one happens, and they usually happen pretty quickly, and there might be a couple of small earthquakes that follow in the hours or the day after the initial earthquake, people here are still, they say they're fine with them, and they usually are, but they're a little uncomfortable by them too, a lot of people. And so they'll have wall-to-wall coverage about it, and that'll be the top news story on the Costa Rican news here when an earthquake happens. But then things go right back to normal as if nothing ever happened.